Hello and welcome back to another XpertVR Friday recap. Today we'll be going over the End of Altspace, VR music, Hollywood education, and iLRN. So let's jump into it. If you don't know, Altspace VR is a platform made by Microsoft, and unfortunately with all the layoffs and everything going on at the moment at Microsoft and other technology companies, they've decided to shut down Altspace VR. And this is sad because it's used a lot in the education space, but luckily we have a solution. Spatial is another platform that's been a great platform that we've used for some of the classes we've ran, and they put out this whole guide on how to migrate your Altspace VR world into their spatial world. So awesome that you'll be able to keep all hard work that you may have done there for your class. Moving along, I saw this interesting opinion piece about how young people need more music education now more than ever after the pandemic, and it just got me thinking about all of the music games that I've played in virtual reality, whether it be something simple like Beat Saber or actual simulations where you're learning on real drums or a real keyboard or things along those lines on how to use those instruments. And I think that would be so scalable in an education sense to be able to have access to all of those instruments virtually to at least practice and maybe have like a pristine set for doing concerts and things along those lines. So just interesting that I could see VR kind of solving this problem. Moving along, I was reading this interesting article in Cision about higher ed meeting Hollywood and what is going on. So the company is called Dreamscape Learn. And basically they are a company based out of Hollywood that has their founders have a Hollywood background and knowledge in making movies, and they were able to use those skills to create these virtual worlds that are for STEM learning, mostly you can see like history as well, and the sciences involved with dinosaurs, I would assume in this example, and in this simulation, beyond just being really cool and being able to explore, they build a whole story around it and make it kind of like a Hollywood movie. So I just think that's such a cool concept. At XpertVR, we're always trying to turn our simulations into stories, but how they're doing it here in the STEM sense, I'm sure they can create much more elaborate stories than the stories that we're creating to train on how to investigate a crime scene and things along those lines. So just really cool to see a company taking those Hollywood learnings to make education more exciting. And then to wrap it up, I wanted to mention iLRN 2023. So if you don't know, I'm one of the directors on the Immersive Learning Research Network Canadian chapter, and they put on a conference every year. This year, they have an online version as well as an in-person version, and they are right now accepting calls for papers. And you can see here, May 18th to 20th is the online portion, and then the June 26th to 29th is the in-person portion. So very exciting just to attend the event, to mingle with other educators in the immersive learning space. But beyond that, if you have an interesting project that you've been working on that is in the education space and related to immersive learning, please submit a paper so that you can speak about it and share your knowledge. But yeah, that is your Friday XpertVR recap of the week. Hopefully you learned something new about what's going on in the news. If you have any questions, please write them in the comments below, and I will see you next week. Peace.